Well, you see the media suppressing this message. I mean, social media hugely suppressing anything about this message, as well as other messages that people need to hear that are true, like the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, if they become president and vice president, they plan to pack the Supreme Court. And, we've got a very important vote coming up today on the floor of the United States Senate, and that is whether or not to confirm Amy Coney Barrett as the next justice of the Supreme Court. Now, you listen to the media tell you, and they'll say that she is being put up to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat. Well, that's such a lie, because that's not Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat. Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the justice who filled that seat, but it's not her seat. It's not some pre-designated seat for the most liberal person we can find, and now they want to put in a conservative, and the media is playing along with this. They're doing just exactly what the communists, what Lenin taught them, which is they're changing the language. This is exactly what the socialists and the communists always do. They always change the language. So now they're saying, well, wait, the Republicans have been packing the court for the entire 4 years of Donald Trump's presidency. But that's a blatant lie, because packing the court actually has a meaning. It means to add justices to the court, which is what Franklin Delano Roosevelt was trying to do when he didn't like the way that the Supreme Court at the time was ruling against his New Deal policies. And that's where the phrase, a switch in time saves 9, comes from, because what happened was the Supreme Court justices got so scared that FDR was actually going to pack the court at that time that they started changing their rulings and not finding these New Deal policies, which were unconstitutional. They quit finding them unconstitutional, and so they called that the switch in time that saved 9. So if you ever heard that phrasing, that's where that comes from. And here we are seeing that repeated in our own day, and we're seeing the change in the language and other hallmarks of a communist socialist takeover. And don't doubt for 1 second that this is being funded by the international communist. You hate to call it a conspiracy, but that's exactly what it is. It's a conspiracy. It's an agreement to do something unlawful, to take over a country, to replace a free government with a socialist communist government. I believe this is being funded by the Chinese. We see that in the documentation that's coming out about Joe Biden. We see that in the change in Joe Biden's position throughout his career on China, because Joe Biden changed from being somewhat of a China hawk. Bill Clinton is one of the first ones who started letting the Chinese in. In exchange for campaign donations and other things, he started providing the Chinese with some of our top-level satellite and missile technology. He ensured that they were allowed to join the World Trade Organization and attain most favored nation status. And all of that led to the huge economic growth in China, the destruction of American manufacturing by and large. And that's why President Trump is so popular in those states where American manufacturing has dried up, because those people know something happened here, something that's not right happened here, and they know why it is. They know it's because we let China have this favored status where, we can't go to China and own a company. U.S. people cannot go to China and buy a Chinese company. No, the Chinese always have to own 51% of their companies, and these are not entrepreneurs. Let's just get that straight. There are no entrepreneurs in China. There are simply apparatuses and organs of the party. That's it. The people who they call entrepreneurs, who supposedly own these businesses, Jack Ma and others, these people are not independent entrepreneurs who took their own capital to start a business and took a risk. No, these people were funded directly by the Chinese Communist Party, and it's part of a plan. It's part of their centrally planned economy. Now, they put on a certain veneer. They put on their panda mask. The dragon puts on the panda mask, and they hide behind that. Oh, this is nice China. Oh, China's our friend. And this is the language that you now hear from Joe Biden after we find out that he and his family have been bought and paid for by the Chinese Communist Party through these sweetheart deals, through non-recourse loans that never have to be paid back in amounts of millions of dollars, through joint ventures that are set up where the Bidens don't have to do anything. They just get equity in these huge ventures that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, where do you think Joe Biden, who's been a United States senator, and while senators make a decent living, it's very expensive to live in Washington, and they have to maintain 2 homes, one in Washington for while they're there doing legislation and one back in their home state. Now, where do you think Joe Biden got 5 homes from? Okay, he's always been a United States senator. They've never made more than about $400,000 a year until the last couple of years when all of a sudden, lo and behold, their tax returns show income in the tens of millions of dollars range. Now, when you listen to a guy like Joe Biden speak, I mean, would you pay that guy tens of millions of dollars to consult on anything? He doesn't even know what century he's in. You know, he's telling you not to forget to turn off the record player. Remember that? You know, he still thinks he's running for the United States Senate. I mean, it's a complete farce. So he's only being paid this kind of money for political reasons. They're buying politicians. This is a Chinese influence operation. And the people that were involved with him in these quote-unquote business ventures, they've all come out and said it, okay? And they've said things like Hunter is basically the bag man. He goes around, puts his name on the business ventures, and he gets the money. And then just like Hunter told his daughter, he has to give 50% of his salary to Pop. Well, who do you think Pop is? He's the big guy. He's Joe Biden. Just like we see in another one of the contracts for one of these joint ventures being set up, how Hunter is going to hold 10% of the equity for the big guy. So Hunter gets 20% for himself, and then he's going to hold 10% of the equity for the big guy. Well, you've got all these other text messages where Joe Biden is referred to as the big guy. The big guy had meetings. The big guy made them happy, etc. All these off-the-books meetings that they hold. And, you know, these business partners, by the way, are now coming out because what's come out in some of these documents is that the Bidens were cutting a bunch of side deals. So not only did they have their supposed business partnership with their business partners to have some of these joint ventures and other things, but they were also getting side deal loans that were going straight into their pockets. And the business partners are a little bit upset about that. Some of these business partners are currently serving in jail. Another one's about to go to jail, Devin Archer. But Bevan Cooney is one that's currently serving in jail, and he's confirmed the fact that these were political influence purchases. They were buying Joe Biden and his family as politicians, and they were also creating blackmail against him. And I'll tell you what, if you want to go out there and look at some of the videos. I haven't done it, and I'm not recommending that you do it, but I've seen a couple of still shots of some of the videos of Hunter Biden that have come out, and it's just the tip of the iceberg of what's out there, by the way, on Hunter Biden, who's one of the most disgusting people I think we've seen in public life in a long time. You could see the text messages between his own family members. His own mother-in-law, Jill Biden, says he's sexually inappropriate with the children. These are the children of his dead brother, Beau Biden. There's apparently photos out there, again, haven't seen them, but that depict these children and him not clothed, his 14-year-old niece with him not fully clothed. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. If Joe Biden wins the presidency, China will own this country. Period. The end. I'm Morgan Streetman, and that's the way I see it. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.